Blind date disaster, the poor mechanic walked in, the paralyzed female CEO never expected to smile again. Wait, you're in a wheelchair. This is a joke, right? The man's voice cut across the restaurant, loud and sharp. Forks paused. Conversations halted. Heads turned toward the corner booth, where a woman with long golden hair sat in a sleek, custom wheelchair. Isabel Hartley didn't flinch, but her hand tightened around the table's edge. Her face stayed composed, but inside, something twisted. She had known this was a risk. Still, it stung. I mean, come on, the man said, standing now. You're the girl from the app? You didn't say you were, he motioned to the chair. Broken? Gasps rippled. A waiter nearby froze. A couple whispered behind their menus. Isabel straightened her back. Her voice was low, calm. I didn't think I had to explain that. I'm here for a conversation. If you came for a fantasy, I'm not it. He let out a cruel laugh. You're right. You're not. Then, louder for the whole room, I thought I matched with Isabel Hartley, the CEO, the billionaire biotech genius, not some sympathy case. There it was. He knew who she was, and now so did everyone else. Whispers followed. A phone camera lifted. Someone mouthed, "Is that really her?" Isabel sat motionless. Her blazer was tailored, her hair perfectly pinned. She looked every bit the powerful executive. Except now she felt like a girl again, wounded, on display. Blind date disaster? Someone muttered nearby. Her fingers gripped the armrest. She reached for her bag. She would leave, alone. Then a voice cut in. Calm. Steady. I think that's enough. Every head turned. A man stood at the door. Tall, broad, in a worn denim jacket and dusty work boots. He walked with quiet purpose, eyes locked not on the heckler, but on her. He passed the stunned host and came to her side. His hand rested gently on the back of her chair. Are you ready to go? He asked, softly. Isabel blinked. Was this another cruel joke? But his gaze was steady, kind, not pitying, just present. She gave a small nod. The man turned to the one who'd insulted her. She deserves better. And with that, he slowly turned the chair, guiding her toward the door. No one stopped them. No one dared. They left behind a stunned silence, and the image of a man who didn't raise his voice, only his presence. Outside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of rain. Isabel felt the tension in her shoulders begin to ease. He let go of the chair once they reached the sidewalk. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just couldn't watch that happen. She looked up at him, his stubbled jaw, grease-stained collar, tired eyes. You don't even know me, she said quietly. He shrugged, didn't need to. Isabel exhaled slowly. Thank you, he smiled. Liam. Isabel. Nice to meet you, Isabel, despite everything. A soft, surprised laugh escaped her. Likewise. They stood in silence for a moment, just city sounds and her heartbeat slowing back to normal. I didn't get to eat, she admitted. Skipped lunch for, well, that. Liam glanced back at the restaurant. Doesn't look like you missed much. Then, after a beat, there's a food truck nearby, nothing fancy. But the grilled cheese? Legendary. She hesitated, then nodded. He grinned. Let's go. And for the first time in a long while, Isabel Hartley followed someone, not out of fear or obligation, but choice. Because sometimes healing begins with a disaster, and sometimes the right person walks in just when the world walks out. If this moment stirred something inside you, if you've ever felt unseen, unwanted, or underestimated, hit that hype button to let others know they're not alone. This story is just getting started. The evening breeze carried the faint scent of rain-soaked asphalt, as Isabel wheeled slowly down the quiet street. Liam walked beside her, hands tucked into the pockets of his jacket. He didn't hover. He didn't push unless she asked. He just walked, steady and unhurried, matching her pace without effort. "Did you eat anything in there before?" He trailed off, his voice careful. She shook her head, a small smile tugging at her lips. "I didn't exactly have the chance." He chuckled softly. "I didn't think so. There's a street vendor a couple of blocks away. Nothing fancy, plastic chairs, paper plates, but their grilled skewers are worth it. Want to give it a try?" Her instinct was to refuse. She was used to private dining rooms, curated menus, the weight of expectation. Street food was something she hadn't touched in years. But the warmth in his tone, casual and without pressure, made her pause. "Why not?" she said. "Good," he replied, a smile breaking across his face. "Because I was already heading there." They turned the corner and found a modest food stall lit by strings of yellow bulbs. The scent of garlic, soy, and roasted meat filled the air. Families sat on mismatched stools, laughter and clinking bottles weaving through the night. Isabel felt strangely out of place and yet oddly at ease. Liam ordered for them both, 2 skewers, fried dumplings, and a bottle of sparkling water. When the plates arrived, the server leaned clumsily, and a streak of thick sauce slipped from the skewer, splattering across Isabel's shoe and ankle. She froze. Heat flushed her face. This was the kind of accident she dreaded, moments that magnified her chair, her difference, her inability to maneuver quickly. She braced for awkward apologies, for the server's flustered pity, for Liam's uncomfortable silence. Instead, Liam calmly reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a folded cloth rag, the kind a mechanic might always carry. "Hold on," he murmured. Before she could protest, he crouched beside her. With easy, unhurried movements, he dabbed the sauce from the leather of her shoe. Then, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, he lifted her foot gently, supporting it with both hands, and placed it back onto the footrest of her chair. Not a hint of hesitation, not a flicker of pity. Just care, respect. Isabel's breath caught. No one touched her like that, not since before the accident. Every gesture from others had been heavy with awkwardness or dripping with condescension. But Liam's touch was different. Steady, practical, kind. Her eyes stung unexpectedly. She blinked fast, willing the tears away. "There," he said simply, straightening. "Good as new." She opened her mouth, then closed it, unsure what words could carry the weight of her gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered finally. He shrugged lightly. "It's just sauce." "No," she said, her voice firmer this time. "It isn't." Their eyes met across the small table. For a moment, the chatter of the crowd, the hiss of the grill, the clatter of chopsticks, all of it faded. Isabel saw in him something she hadn't expected. A man who looked at her without agenda, without judgment. She realized with a sharp ache in her chest that this was the first time in years someone had treated her as whole, not defined by what she had lost, but seen for who she was. Liam broke the silence with a smile, gesturing to the skewers. "Eat before it gets cold. Trust me, food like this doesn't wait." She laughed softly, a sound she hardly recognized as her own. She took a bite, and for the first time that night, the taste of something simple and real spread through her. Garlic, ginger, the char of the grill. It wasn't just food, it was freedom. And sitting under the glow of yellow bulbs, across from a mechanic with grease still on his hands, Isabel Hartley, CEO, heiress, survivor, felt something she hadn't in years. She felt seen. The days that followed weren't marked